It's been 10 years and we still haven't gotten an adaptation of The Subtle Knife or The Amber Spyglass.
Where are our lives if there is no dream? Where is our home?
The Golden Compass, directed by Chris Wedge, and is the first in the originally planned trilogy based on Philip Pullman's book trilogy His Dark Materials. This particular movie is based on the first book in that series, Northern Lights. Well, I'm glad they changed the title of the movie to The Golden Compass, as that makes much more sense. The Golden Compass tells the story. It's quite a complicated plot, so I'll put it simple. Set in a parallel world where people's souls live outside of their bodies as shape-shifting animals called demons that's governed by the ruthless authority figures, the Magisterium. Young Lyra Balakwa, who lives at Jordan College, she one day meets the mysterious Mrs. Coulter, who offers to take her to the north to help Lyra discover the truth about a strange and mysterious particle known as dust, which along the way her friend Roger gets captured by the gobblers who work for the Magisterium. So it's up to Lyra to journey to the north and escape Mrs. Coulter, who may not be as she seems, and that will lead her on an adventure that will make her meet up with Egyptians, witches, ice bears, and on an epic adventure that was supposed to span 3 films. I'm afraid to say that this film, when it was released back in December 2007, 10 years ago, that's why I am reviewing it, specifically for its 10th anniversary, and because my friend Mr. TARDIS11 recently reviewed it, so check out his review. That's, if you can, that's great. And sadly, it was not very successful. It still remains to this day one of the biggest fantasy flops in history, and because of its low box office results, they just completely cancelled the sequels, and New Line hoped this would be their next Lord of the Rings trilogy. Not only that, but it received mixed critical reception, and yeah, a lot of people don't like this film to this day, so some even downright hate it and call it a disgraceful adaptation of Philip Pullman's beloved classic. And you were all curious to know which camp am I in? Do I love it or hate it? Well, if I'm being perfectly honest, guys, I'm not going to lie about my opinion. I'm in the absolute minority, but I really like The Golden Compass. I think it is one of the most underrated classic fantasy films ever made. It was my childhood. I was only 12 when it came out, and I still have a blast watching it every time. I don't know why people don't like this film. I can understand if you don't, but today I'm here to give The Golden Compass the review that I believe it truly deserves. This is a excellent fantasy movie, and I think there's way more to love here than there's not. Firstly, visually, The Golden Compass is an absolute masterpiece. It is one of the best looking films that my eyes have ever witnessed. Not a joke. The world they have built is absolutely wonderful and creative, and it's literally Philip Pullman's imagination world so perfectly depicted in film. They got everything right. I mean, this film was a visual effects extravaganza. You've got the demons, you've got the different buildings, you've got the north, the ice bears, you've got the Magisterium. Just the effects and the production design here are out of this world good. I mean, no wonder this movie won many awards, including the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. Well deserved. I mean, even if you're not so keen on the story and find it hard to follow, you can't deny it looks great. The characters and the cast in this film are all top notch, all of them. I mean, Dakota Blue Richards as Lyra, she is incredibly underrated. She's one of the best child actresses, well, just ever, I think. I mean, she literally, embodies Lyra perfectly. I see Lyra in her, and yeah, she had to interact as well with not just adult actors, but with green screen, and that was one of the earliest time periods in film where actors had to do that, and she did that better interacting with CGI characters than most adult actors did. So you've got to give her praise for that, and I love Lyra as a protagonist. People complain that she's bratty, but I really disagree. She's not bratty. She's just rightfully pissed off. Basically, I mean, she's been told she's an orphan. She's expected to obey orders by her elders all the time at Jordan College. I mean, and she's a kid character who can actually stand up for herself, and as well as Nicole Kidman as Mrs. Coulter, fantastic. She is easily one of the best performances and highlights from the cast. She is just so well kind, as well as a sinister, as well as giving a sympathetic side to such a complex character like Mrs. Coulter, and everybody else is perfectly cast. They are literally the characters as stepped out from Philip Pullman's book. Daniel Craig, James Bond himself, makes for a very strong Lord Asriel, even if he's barely in the movie, and Eva Green absolutely epic as Serafina Pekkala, and Sam Elliott's just so kick-ass as Lee Scoresby, and Ian McKellen as Ulrich Bernison, the polar bear, the ice bear. He is just so freaking cool. He's Lyra's defender, and Lyra's demon Pan. He's great too. He's her sensible side, her conscious, excellently voiced by Freddie Highmore. So yeah, loved every single one of these characters, and if they do make Soft Sniper and Amber Spyglass, I'd love to see them again. And the story is really complex and dark, much more so than most fantasy stories. Philip Pullman is known for writing more sophisticated fantasy than most authors, and the story here, I think, just honours his source material, even if the haters of this movie will strongly disagree with me. I think this is a near-perfect adaptation. I'm sorry, and yes, it's complicated, filled with religious themes as well, and it is hard to follow for some viewers, but I don't mind that. That makes it all the more fascinating for me, and makes me want to find out more, with the element of mystery to the plot, which should be solved in the sequels. And I'm glad that they minimised the religious references, so that religious audiences wouldn't get offended. They changed the magisterium quite a bit, actually, from the source material, and that makes for just great cameos from Derek Jacobi and Christopher Lee. Yeah, hopefully Derek Jacobi will get way more screen time in the sequels. And my only flaw with the Golden Compass, as much as I am a strong defender of it, I will admit it's not so quite absolutely perfect as I want it to be. I mean, the first act and first hour when Lyra is at Jordan College and spending time with her friend Roger and Egyptian kid Billy, and it's setting up the world with the prologue, which the prologue was great, by the way, but the first half of this movie, yeah, it's pretty slow. The Jordan College scenes can drag a little. Me and my Mum agreed that the first actor was the slowest part, but it may take a while to get into, but once you do, the second half of this movie is amazing. It completely makes up for all the slight pacing issues in the first half. It's by the second half, the second and third act, so it's like, okay, I am in. I am loving this. The part where Lyra gets on the boat with the Egyptians when she gets to the north, finds Yurik in a troll's den and helps him get his armor back. Lyra and Yurik's friendship is actually really sweet. So you really believe the friendship between a little girl and polar bear, which is odd, but it really works here. Particularly in the brilliant subplots when Lyra gets captured by the Samoyeds and taken before the Ice Bear King Ragnar, who poisoned Yurik's father and challenged Yurik and beat him in single combat and exiled him. Yeah, that's kind of the Lion King, but with polar bears, I know, but it's not a direct rip-off, and Lyra cleverly tricks Ragnar into believing she's his demon, that he must defeat Yurik in single combat for her to become his demon. Ragnar's so desperate for a demon, he is so willing to believe this. This is what makes Lyra, well, clever, as I said before. And the way she just hugs Yurik as she feels so guilty believing she's just sent him to his doom. It's so sweet. But the polar bear fight between Yurik and Ragnar is epic. It's probably the best action scene in the entire movie. Yeah, this movie does have a surprisingly great action when it is on screen, and the fight gets resolved in such a gruesome way.
Is that all?
He ripped his jaw off. And this movie's rated PG. That should have at least gotten an 18 or R rating for that scene alone. Yeah, this movie's way darker than it's marketed to be. I'm glad it didn't sugarcoat Philip Pullman's writing too much. And yeah, the final battle at Bolvanger is so well done. How the witches, the Egyptians, and Yurik all band together to save the children and their demons from the Tartar warriors in this epic finale. The relationships between Lyra, Lord Asriel, and Mrs. Coulter fully get explained here. Yeah, there's a great emotional power to this finale when we just discover some shocking plot twists. That spoiler alerts. Lord Asriel is Lyra's father, but it gets even better. Mrs. Coulter is Lyra's mother. Dun dun dun. Oh my goodness, I was hooked. I immediately wanted to see Subtle Knife and the Spyglass after that cliffhanger. Not only that, but I want to know what Dust is. The cliffhanger of this movie is perfect. Although my other minor criticism would be, why did they delete the original ending, which is the original ending of the book, where I'm not going to spoil if you haven't read the book. I have the books here, Northern Lights, Subtle Knife, and the Spyglass. I've read them all, they're awesome, and I'm not going to spoil them for those of you who haven't read the books, but that cliffhanger, I hope that the Subtle Knife and Amber Spyglass's movies do hopefully get made one day, if not by another director. Hopefully all my friends and family could make them if nobody else is willing to, since I am an aspiring director. So overall, I thoroughly enjoy The Golden Compass. I think it's incredibly underrated, and if you're one of those people that don't like it, just give it another watch. You might enjoy yourself. I give The Golden Compass 4.5 stars out of 5. And just wanted to add, the music is wonderful, and I even like the end credits song by Kate Bush, Lyra, beautiful song, as well as the video game, which is awesome, by the way, probably even slightly slightly better than the movie. Yeah, very nostalgic to me. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. What do you think of the Golden Compass? Please comment, let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. And please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love making new subscribers, meeting new people, making new friends, and talking to you guys about movies. I really appreciate that. And please follow me on Twitter and on Google+. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.